Hey folks, I'm Dave. Welcome to the channel. So we're back for another Halloween project, and we recently made this. Just a corner decoration that you can hang it off the side of a door frame, or you can resize it, make it smaller, and hang it off of a picture frame. But I learned something from this. This one actually leans a little to the right because it's a little heavy on that side. So we're going to make another one. And this is what we're going to make here. And for the vectors, we're going to use a font. And I recently done a short video on where to get that font and how to turn it into a Halloween art library. Over here on the right, I've got all the characters that are available. And I will drop a link for that video. And you can just use the individual pieces that we're going to use, or whichever ones that you like better, or you can take time to create a full free Halloween art library and have it anytime you need it. So we're going to start by grabbing a square and just hold shift and drag out a perfect square and drop it. Click your selector tool, go up top and make sure your lock is on, and just make this 170 millimeters. That's about 6.5 inches, somewhere in that neighborhood. Select it, Control D to copy, and then go up top to the percentages and be sure your lock is still on. Select one of the percentages and make it 85. And that gives you 85% of the original. Then you can select the bottom, and you want to drag out that corner just to get beyond the square. Then select your first square, shift, select the second square, and over on the left in the modifier tools, click subtract. All right, now we have a perfect square. We're going to right click to make sure it is converted to path. It typically is after you subtract something, but you can take a little time and check to be sure. I always do. Then select it, go over to the node editor. If you hover, you can see the options you have for making adjustments. But all we're going to do is just grab the top line. You can move it around. We just want to make it, we're going to put a house on the hill. So there's our hill. So just pull it up and let it go. We're going to drag out the outside edge a little bit so we can add a skeleton and a ghost hanging off the side. Give us a little more to hang to. And I think that's pretty good. Click the selector tool. So now we're going to pull out, I took the ones from this, it's called Monster Mash, was the font that we used in the video. So if you have any trouble setting this up, just let me know. But I pulled the ones I needed up to the top. So there's our haunted house. Remember, you can scroll in and out with your mouse wheel. You can hold down and move the entire canvas around. So this house is set at 80 millimeters in height. And of course you can adjust them to whatever you would like them to be. So we're just going to squeeze that up a little bit. You can soup yours up and make it much nicer. We'll lean the house a little bit. I think we can grab tools and deform 16 points. We can drag this out, make it look a little more spooky. Click the selector tool. You can just do these and have fun with them. You can even make some small ones to put on the corners of light switches or any corners in the house. All right, so before, I don't know what I was doing there. I was, I guess, talking too much. we're going to put that there, but we're going to put a moon on the back of it. So grab a circle, hold shift, draw out a little moon, put it on the back like that. But before we weld it, we're going to get a copy of this house, Control D, and we're just going to pull it off to the side because we're going to do the cutouts to put back over each of these pieces that we're going to weld on. So you can select the house and the moon together and then click weld over into modifier tools. It looks a little weird here, but it won't after we put our cutout back on top of it. And then select everything, click weld, and now our house is in place. All right, so we will grab us a tree to go next to the house, and it has just been sized proportionately. Usually when I'm doing something like this, I'll size the largest object and not necessarily measure the rest of them, but just size them to where they don't look strange. All right, so you don't want the tree touching the house because then your cutout won't set properly. All right, so we have that in place. So we're going to Control D and just move us one out. I'm just using the right arrow key to pull that out. And select everything and weld. All right, it's coming together, folks. We'll grab a headstone, cross, and again, this has been sized to in accordance with the size of the house. I think the house started at 80 or 100, and then I just worked my way down from there. But of course, you play around with it and make it however you like, make it even nicer. Okay, this one, we will also get a copy, Control D, move it out. Select everything and weld. We will get us a wolf to howl at the moon. Get him set in place. Get a copy. Control D. Move it out. Select everything and weld. It takes a little time to figure out exactly what you want to do when you're designing something. But once you have kind of an idea of what you want to do, it goes pretty fast. I know I always say this, but if you have any small pieces like this that you don't want in there, this one's fine. But if you didn't want that, you can select everything, ungroup, take it out, and then group everything else back. All right, let's grab a headstone. We'll turn it a little crooked like that. I guess this graveyard's falling off of a cliff. Let's see if that will ungroup. Yep. So we'll just make these letters an engrave. And it really doesn't matter on that one, actually. It's going to be underneath. So we'll Control D, move that out, group it back together, and then on this one, we don't have to waste any laser time putting those on there because this will be sitting on top of it. Then we'll grab everything and weld. All right, we're getting there, folks. Now we are gonna get these moved out of the way. We are going to put us a ghost hanging off the side here. And as long as it doesn't go all the way to the edge there, it's fine. The ghost will just sit here and the other piece of glue right on top of it. So we'll set that there. Duplicate, move it out of the way. And again, I'm just using the arrow keys to move everything. My neck's hurting a little bit today, folks. So if I'm moving too much, I'm sorry. And we don't have to cut these eyes if it'll let me ungroup. Sometimes the vectors you get out of a font will not let you ungroup it and take these out. But in this case, it will. So just like the case of this little small piece, if you wanted it out, you just ungroup, click them and get rid of them. Then you can select everything and weld it in place. It's going to look pretty good. I think you're going to like it. And you can make, there's just so many more like this that you can make. And you will be ready to make some for Christmas. Christmas is coming, so you can follow those instructions for how we got this font and extracted these vectors, and go look up Christmas stuff or any other holiday that you would like to that's available, and then make you a art library and do something similar. So we're going to select Control D, move it out, pull it up. We might need 2 of these. Let's do 2 of these. Control D, pull it out. And then this one, we will ungroup and get these center pieces out. No need to do extra cutting. Get those out. Then we will Control D, duplicate and move it down. And we will have 2 skeletons. Could make one a little bigger. So when you resize, and I say this because I have forgotten to do it before, put your pieces back together like that and resize them all together, and then just pull them to where you need them, test them, and then pull your other piece back out. And you can do that if it's grouped by just selecting one of the eyes or something. And there we go. So now we can select everything and weld it in place. And then after we cut, all these pieces will go back and set on top. And it's going to look pretty good. So I think we're ready to jump into laser. So let me set this up. But one important thing that I often forget is over in the cuts and layers, make sure your engrave goes above your cut line. Otherwise, you will cut first and then try to engrave, and it won't work out too good. So I'm going to move everything around and get it, make the best use out of the wood. We're going to use a 3mm basswood that is not plywood, it's solid. And it should work pretty good for this. On the last one, I used a 5mm Luan hardwood plywood, which if y'all have seen my videos, you know I use quite often. It's a really nice project wood. But this time we'll use a 3mm solid basswood and see how that works. So let me get set up in the laser and I will be right back. Okay, we are framed up and ready, but this is the second time. because like I said, I intended to use this solid 3mm basswood, and it caught fire. So I changed over to a 3mm basswood plywood. The solid wood, I don't use it for customer products anyway, because it dents easily. It's kind of spongy. So be careful with it if you use it. And one of the things that contributes to a fire is pieces that get caught down in the honeycomb. So I try to clean it once a week with tweezers and with the shop vac, and try to get all that stuff out of there. But just be careful. So we're framed up and ready to go with the new piece of wood, and we'll send the code on over, cut this out, and see what it looks like. Okay, looking much better than the last try. No fires anyway. So let me clean this up and put it together, and we'll get a closer look at it. Okay, well, here's our finished Halloween corner display. I think it turned out really nice. At least I didn't set fire to it the second time. Again, we ended up using 3mm basswood plywood, but the first that I used was a solid basswood, which I don't like using, but I bought a bunch of it when I first started laser cutting because I didn't know any better. I still got it sitting around, so I try to use it for testing and for making personal items. I don't use it for any customer stuff. So if you give this a try and you have questions, let me know and I'll get you an answer. I'll drop a link to the font Monster Mash that is public domain out on dafont.com, and you can go grab it. I'll also drop a link to the video where I took that font and turned it into a Halloween art library. If you do that, it'll come in real handy and you won't have to go digging for these vectors. So these external pieces, I just stuck those on with some tape so I can take them off later and paint this up and make it look nicer. And the possibilities for what you can do with this type of thing are endless. You can make these for door frames, you can make them for picture frames, you can even make them for light switch covers, just to hang on the edge of the light switch. So just go out and have fun with it. And if you have questions about anything I've got posted or any general laser or light burn questions, let me know and I'll do my best to get you an answer. I really appreciate you folks watching. I know there's a lot of stuff you could be watching, so I appreciate it. And I appreciate the questions and the comments. They help me as a newbie, but they also help any of the viewers that come across it. So if this video was helpful, please like and subscribe. It will help the channel grow, and it'll help me to keep doing this. So check back often for new videos. You folks take care, and we'll see y'all next time. Thank you.